Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the sculpting mid portion of the Yoshitaka Mono mobile platform project. The name is still super long. It will never change at this point because we're kind of at the home stretch right now. Because last time we got the left hand here, left arm kind of done. We got the book in there. This time, our goal this time is we want to work on the right arm, right hand. You can see on the side, he's holding a book on the side there. So going to make that and get this all ready to go for hardening. And if that goes super quick, then we might jump up onto start doing kind of the face stuff. And if not, we can save that for next time. But we're going to at least try to get this thing to a place where we can harden all this and get this done. And then we probably have another session or two of the face, head, and hair. And then sculpting here is kind of done at that point. And we can move on to kind of just finishing everything off, really. So we're kind of at the home stretch right now. So I've already taken out a little bit more of the clay. And I'm just going to fold it up real quick because I'm going to make, before I do anything with the hand and arm here, I'm just going to make that book kind of thing, the book, kind of make that up real quick. So at least I have the prop size I need to kind of then shove inside his shoulder here, which would be kind of super useful to use. And I shouldn't be staring at the foot on my stand. That's not good. Let's just get something a little bigger than we need. Okay, once again, this is kind of the size of the books that we had in the pile that goes on the side over here, which, actually, give me 1 second. Let me bring that down just so we have, of course, I've moved everything as far away as possible. But he will have the pile of books kind of to the side of him, which are comically bigger than what we need. I might need one less than that to get the actual height. Yeah, that's probably, I'm going to need to sacrifice one of these colors. We don't need all those books. I can have one less. That said, book this size would have been, actually, it is just a little bit bigger than what I have him holding there. So it's actually not that far off. I was afraid of what I had made was actually much, much smaller than here, but that is what he's going to have on this side. So this one, the book is going to be, this one, actually I can even use the real thing. It's going to be a little bit smaller than the real thing, once again, or the side one. But that is not a problem. Although technically I could have him, no, because these books, I really, really do want this one to be smaller, or else it's just straight up not going to fit in there. So, yeah. I also got to roll up the sleeves a little bit. It is warmer today than it has been in a long time. Finally opening up the windows to my place to air everything out. It's been probably like 3-4 months to be able to do that, but we're in the 60s now. We can finally do that, get some fresh air in, which is fantastic. Okay, there we go. How's that for kind of a general size? Even, because I also might need to, awesome, I have a little light flashing on here. This thing is stuck to the stand on my webcam that I'm using here, and apparently it's going nuts right now, and I don't necessarily want it to go nuts right now. So, okay, we're going to have a slightly thinner book than this, I think. So how about I take some, this will be the paperback edition he has over here. It's going to be a little thinner. I think I will be sliding that hand, or the arm, maybe out just a little bit, although that does fit. If I get it in there, actually, it doesn't have to, it's going to be out just a little bit. It will fit, it will fit, it will fit, it will fit. It's going to be all good. I don't need to worry. Which is okay, we can smush you back together again. Because I forgot, I can have, his arm already is out a little bit here, so I can kind of fit it in on his side. Or even if I do cut it off, cut more of a sliver and not the big honking thing that I just did. Yeah, there we go. A little more of a sliver off of it. But we can also get some extra clay off of here so it fits in. Because again, if you're holding the book up close to you, it's going to be pushing that fabric in, so we can remove some of that fabric, then deal with kind of making folds or wrinkles or all that as we go. That's a very not square book, but at least it fits in the space we need it to fit in. So just like on the wooden counterparts, let's go and get all this extra clay stuff off of here. And just like the wooden counterparts, we're going to make this pretty much have the exact same effect as that, only now it's going to be out of clay, which is both easier and harder to deal with just because of the soft nature of this. It does allow for the rough forming of things to be easier, but it has the same problem of, or it runs into a problem just because it is soft. As we touch it and do stuff to it, bad things are going to happen. So to get the spine here, we just want to take a little slit. I'm not on camera. Take just a little bit off of that. So we need to get the book binding on the back here kind of in place. Let's get a little more of the binding going. As soon as this recording is done, because it is so nice out there, I have like a 30-ish mile bike ride I want to get in. Again, this should be my distance run / ride of the every other week deal that's going on. But because I'm shifting from the running to cycling and haven't had much cycling practice yet this year, I'm doing just kind of another easier, shorter, quote-unquote shorter one. It'll be around, like I said, 30 miles. And then next week I'll do the real one, which will be probably about 50 or just a little over 50 miles. And that'll be good. I just feel like if I were to do that too soon right now, my body would not enjoy any bit of this thing, and I don't want to wreck my body in the process of this, of trying to get it actually in decent shape. That would also be bad. Okay, so now we bring, trying to carve this out. That's it. I am slightly upset, although I'm enjoying the nice weather we're getting here, although it's going to be freaking hot working tomorrow because my body's not used to the 60, 70 degree thing that we're getting. On a bike is going to be fine. At work all day outside, I'm going to be not super happy about that. If we had a grace period where it kind of got in the 50s or something for a little bit and the body got used to it getting warmer into that 60, roughly 70 range, it might not be so bad. But we kind of skipped that whole temperature range, and going from one extreme kind of to another is not happy. Doesn't work out too well for me. So it's going to be what it's going to be. That's it. I'm kind of slightly upset at YouTube right now because I've noticed like within a month span, it will go and kind of like quote unquote promote my videos kind of decently. You'll get like maybe a couple thousand kind of showings as thumbnails to other people kind of out there. And then throughout the course of the month, it will also go through a cycle where it doesn't like showing things to anybody. And yeah, the last two clay modeling videos that have gone out, the Thursday one and the Saturday one, right now it's Sunday. So on the one that went out on Thursday, it has been shown as a thumbnail 68 times, and that's it. The one that went out on Saturday, the one that went out yesterday, has been shown 14 times, and that's it. And yeah, I'm not super pleased with that. I don't know how the algorithm works ever. I just don't understand how YouTube does its thing. But right now, apparently, it's not doing its thing, and there's a good chance, unless you 100% know this video exists and you've been watching the whole thing all the way through, nobody else is ever going to see this video. Just because it's YouTube doing YouTube things. And I know I should be used to this at this point, but it's still frustrating whenever I see YouTube doing YouTube things. Which is also why maybe after this project's done, I take a little bit of a break. Maybe I'd wait until starting the next one until after like the Ultra stuff is done and try to figure out a way to either learn video editing stuff so I can cut down a lot of these areas and still have things kind of be coherent and nice and good, or just kind of learn some way to be more engaging so that when things go out and when the greater volume of people actually choose to click on what I'm doing, they can be more engaged and have a better time with it. Because right now, yeah, this isn't super working. It's working for you who's watching, but all in all. But at the same time, I do enjoy just kind of, this is a nice way to get ideas out, just kind of, if I have things going on, it gives me like just a place to go to get ideas out and thoughts out and whatnot. So for me, it's nice just kind of chilling back here behind the cameras, doing what I'm doing and talking about whatever. So I kind of like this for that reason, but in terms of audience engagement, it's not particularly great. So I need to kind of square the circle on these things, make it all kind of work. And we kind of have a book going. It's, again, it's doing it out of clay in between 5 and 10 minutes. So it is kind of what we would expect. We're going to have the better side facing forward, and it's going to go whoop, kind of in there. Okay, now I got to find, where did the hand go? Where did I grab the hand and accidentally mix? Did I accidentally mix the hand up into this? Maybe. Well, if that's the case, we can make a new one. It didn't take that long to make them in the first place. Today's going great. It's going just like the trail running video I had, where half stuck to talk about, and then all of a sudden, brain's like, no, I forgot everything. Let's just deal with it. You're not under him, are you? Or behind the books? No. Alright, well, maybe I just mix the hand up in here. And if so, that's fine. Also means we're not going to be getting to the face today. We're going to do the face next time. Alright, so just in case you missed how it's done last time, because nobody saw that video because it never got broadcast out to anywhere, here's how we do hands. Or here's how I do hands anyway. So I just make a little kind of snake. Cut some fingers out. I have a big old palm down here. Alright, and we're making the right hand, so the pinky is going to be on that side. So let's start with kind of the index finger coming up first, followed by the middle finger. Then we go get ring finger next. Pinky on the side. Pinky is shorter than that. Except, wait a minute, I am 100% backwards because that's the back of the hand, not the front of the hand. I am doing good today. This is... sometimes the brain is just in it, and sometimes it's not. Okay, so we have index, we have middle finger is a little bigger. Ring finger comes down, And pinky comes down even more, except this pinky is fat on that side. Let's put the thinner edge of this sticking out. And pinky comes down. See, there we go. Back of hand. That's how we do that. Let's merge you in. The hand probably did fall off. It was kind of on here, and it probably did fall off, and I just 100% mixed it in with this. But again, at this scale, if you haven't seen the other videos I've done, this is significantly smaller than the other ones, and as a result, it's going significantly faster than the others. So we don't need the excess stuff. We just kind of block that out. This is still a little more than what we need. And now the goal is just kind of blend in the stuff here. So we have the palm, which don't need to worry too much about the palm itself, because he's going to have clenched fingers on top of the book. So you're not really going to see this section. Hopefully this video gets put out more than 14 times in the first day. That's not too good. I just... YouTube. You're killing me. You're killing me, YouTube. Everything was going so well. Then I hit the painting phase, and it's just... everything died. Because nobody wants to watch a bad painting job. And that was a lot of very questionable painting decision things kind of went into that. I think just doing standard figure model painting is much easier than the thing I was doing before, than that kind of Walker thing. We have kind of bigger planes with a lot of kind of effects going on into it. So when I paint this guy, it should go a lot more expediently and look better than the other way. But okay, so we in there. So hopefully anybody who left as a result of that part can kind of find their way back, maybe. I want you back. It feels good to see big numbers. Okay, this is probably way more thumb than I need, but we're in here. That is absolutely way more thumb than I need. That said, we're getting pretty close to the point where this Band-Aid can now come off for good. We're getting really close. I'm not quite there yet. It might be like another week or so, but I don't think it's super far off at this point. Why am I putting you on the pinky side? Okay, so we have the thumb. If you can even see it on there, on my little kind of preview thing, it's so small. Because then my preview for this is about 2.5 by like 4 inches or whatever kind of space. So when I have my computer on the side, that's all I'm kind of looking at to make sure things are on screen and whatnot. And I can barely see this thing on there. It is so tiny. So tiny. Okay, there we go. We got a new hand back. That didn't take that long to do. Now, he's going to be kind of... need to clench it, and best way to clench it, take a nice kind of flat surface like the spade bit here. We can kind of then bend the fingers over. Bring the thumb out a little bit. I'm not going to worry too much about how the inside of the hand looks, because the inside really doesn't matter. Okay, and unlike last time on this book where we took the excess part of the wire and kind of speared it through, I don't need to do it this time, because this time it's going to be kind of wedged in here, and when I put the sleeve and whatnot on this, that's all going to wedge that thing in place. It's not going to go anywhere. So what I do want to make sure is that the hand kind of starts in the right place, which we're going to be kind of I think it really is kind of right where that bend is. Whoop, let's get you out. So let's go right to this bend. Turn a little bit. Okay. Also, you don't use the very end of this thing to cut with. Well, we're going to get that off the ground before I go and vacuum stuff up afterwards. that thing went on a journey. Okay, so hand is generally kind of down, and the fingers are actually going to be more bent, more on the bottom finger and kind of less on the index. So it's almost like the hands are a little more, rather than just kind of straight, a little more kind of whoop. And same thing I did last time. In order to get the wire in there, I'm just going to make a little bit of a channel. Pop it out. Get the clay out. Oh, you can do it. Hey, all right, we got the clay out. Let's get this stuff off of here. And that way, when I put that in here, we have a little bit of a channel that then we can then cover everything as we go. Now, if he has the book, I'm going to want him something like that. So we're going to be facing kind of that direction. All right, back to our trusty glue. Add a little bit in there. And bim bam bibbity bop, there we go. Kind of twist it the direction we want. And that will kind of be in there. All right, let's give that a second to do its thing. Otherwise, if I start playing with it right now, I'm going to get glue all over my fingers too, because it's just going to squish out a little bit. And don't really want that. All right, so just having the other hand on here already makes this feel better. We're 22 minutes in. Okay. Let's see, I need to move some things out of the way. I need to move my camera out of the way so I can kind of see what I'm doing here, as well as you. And we can definitely see, if we go up a little bit, you see a nice little shine there, that wire is showing. We can now do something about that. The first thing I'm going to do about that is move these books out of the way. We have enough books to deal with here. Okay. So I have a little piece of that. I'm actually going to put a little more glue on that just so. When I put the glue on there, this will actually stick to something. And then with this in place, we can kind of fatten up his wrist a little bit. Then fatten up his wrist so it's actually kind of the right size for the wrist. Put the book in there, and then we mold the fabric around that. Because, yeah, book takes priority over fabric, for sure. That's a hardened piece of something. You don't know what that's doing there. Alright, I don't need you actually hooked onto that. Because frankly, I'm going to be touching up some of these details here anyway. So as long as I'm not holding, like say, the button part down at the bottom, I can really kind of hold this wherever I want. These things aren't going anywhere. again, this inside edge really doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. The outside is kind of the moneymaker portion, but we still want to kind of make this feel right. Okay, giving a little bit more to the wrist area. Although really the cloth looks like it comes basically right down to the hand on this one. The arm was extended fully on the other, so it winds up being a little bit short, just kind of like if you have a shirt and you kind of stretch your arm out. It might come just whoop, before your hand and your wrist. Whereas this one's kind of, it's tucked in a little bit more, so the cloth actually comes all the way down on this. So I shouldn't be worrying too much. Okay, so I have that. We had a good side and bad side to the book. Middle finger, what are you doing? Alright, so if I'm kind of holding a book there, now we can get the cloth fabric to look a little more like what I want it to look like. So let's actually resituate you in here. Oop, there we go. Oh, once that gets hardened, it's going to be so much nicer. Alright, how do I want to do this? I want to get just a little bit more of this out here. Let's push you back just a little bit. I know I have that posture roller, I could be doing it with that, but for something this small, this will be fine. And all I'm doing is making kind of the sleeve start kind of down here-ish. Maybe I start it on the underside and bring it up and over. Yeah, if I can start you... Alright, so book is going to be right there. Sleeve comes... You know, maybe get this thing attached kind of first, and then we'll go and stick that book in. Okay, we can have a little loose on the bottom. That's going to be good. Okay, so if that's in there, let's go and merge this in, and then we'll add the book. Because again, this is the easiest way to make a sleeve feel like a sleeve. Alright, I don't want to be adding too much on this half of things. I'm kind of surprised, considering how fast every other part went. These arms are actually taking longer than I thought they would. I thought some of the other stuff would take a little longer than it did, like the pants or the shoes and other areas, but somehow the arms here are actually taking slightly longer. Which isn't a problem. It's still way faster than the other ones, but sometimes I'm just kind of surprised at certain things that take a certain amount of times and other things that take others. You kind of have an expectation of where the time is going to disappear to. And this wasn't 100% where I thought it would. Okay, so now that we have that, now can get some of this excess stuff off. And try to fit you in here. That's going to go to the side. And he's got book in hand. Keep that hopefully there. And now let's see how well we can get this to work in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, I think I'm going to end this either when I'm substantially complete right now, I'm looking, we're half hour in, or if I'm ready for hardening. I'm not going to be doing hardening on camera. I think I want to do touch-ups on this. I'm dang sure I'm going to be doing touch-ups on this thing off camera, just to kind of make it all nice. I'll harden it. Yeah, and then next time will be FaceTime. Next time we will make this. How we're doing the glasses, well, we're gonna work on that part when we get to it. Not there yet, but the face we can do. Glasses will be part of the final kind of how do we make it all look good in the end phase, and our little embellishments at that point. All right, so we need to kind of baggy the arm up a little bit. Trying to hold this while break off another piece while I have this stupid band-aid on my hand, which, again, I'm close. The nail as of a week ago was about 3/16 from being as full grown as it needs to be. At this point in time now, it is only an 1/8 inch. So it did about a 1/16 inch worth of growing in the last week, so we are getting there on that. It's not that far off. But it's not quite there yet. I wish you were easier to slide in. So until it gets there and until it feels like it's better, I'm just gonna keep it wrapped up. And let me get a couple of these small pieces kind of out here that I can then not have to break off super much more as I need some. I can just take little bits, I can hold it in one hand and then just grab a dot and smooth it in, grab a dot, smooth it in. We're trying to learn as we go here. Sometimes I feel like we do, sometimes I feel like I don't. But the goal is to keep learning as we go. If we see something that doesn't feel like it's going very well, we'll just deal with it and then figure it out for next time to make it better. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We need this to read a little bit better here. So although I'm still going to be messing this thing up as it goes, we're still going to be, I can blend in some of it right now to kind of keep it within the range that I want it to be. So we kind of do these interim kind of smoothings just to kind of keep ourselves in a range that works. It was the other way. And whoa, you didn't hook. Speaking of things that need to be smoothed out as we go, this guy here could use a little something something. Oh, this entire session I'm just fighting things the whole way through. Maybe it's just the YouTube thing put me in a bad mood. I don't know what it is. I should be in a good mood. We're finally airing out everything. Like, all the windows in our place are open. We're getting fresh air. It's a nice day to be doing all this stuff. I should be having a good time with that, but it just, arg, why? Okay, so if I'm going in that, I do want more stuff up here. Okay, this is just kind of smoothing out a little bit. So now if I stick you in, I could grab a little more. Oh, come on, get on. Get on the thing. I need that so I can just keep popping stuff up here. Because again, this comes down far on that side. I do need to bring it inside this edge. Nope, not that. Do need to bring it inside that edge. So we get kind of the same thing going on here. And I would like to have this thing blocked out sooner rather than later so I can put some folds on before this session ends. Even if they're not good folds, I want to get something on here before the session ends. In that regard. Okay, so a little bit more. We're getting close. Okay, that's starting to feel a little bit better there. So now if we bring this in, I can bring that right up, and that's feeling a little bit better. Okay, so that said, I think I want more on the outside edge here. Okay, it's definitely reading more like what it's supposed to. I just need a little bit on the back, and then we can start adding some folds. Start making it look and or feel like actual fabric. Which is ultimately what we want. We want this thing to feel like fabric, because it should feel like all the fabric. Again, this is based off an Amano artwork. It's going to have a fabric feel. And Amano's especially like a 90s Amano artwork. This is hecka gonna have a fabric feel. If you're familiar with any of his art stuff, that is absolutely the feel we're going for. At least the end of the sleeve, the cuff there area, is feeling like what it's supposed to feel like, so that part's good. If we're in here, let's go once again. I've been doing all sorts of bad stuff to this. Let's bring that back. Let's get a little detail-y back in our button there again. I feel like we need more kind of coming off this shoulder. His arm just feels really flat. He may not have the huge shoulders like an Arn or the Ryu Hayabusa or the Bank Shishigami, but he does have something going on. And again, this back kind of edge, he will have that. Look on the side, he will have the collar, the hood kind of area that comes down there. But again, I'm going to do that after I get his neck size figured out. One thing after another. We're going to do things a little bit in order so we can kind of play with that. This. Yeah, I'm going to find out that any fold I do is probably going to be wrong right off the bat. I think a lot of these I've done on camera. I've had to change off camera because they were wrong. It's like, I feel like when I go kind of live, it's like I need to do something to kind of give an idea that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't really give a thought to whether it's actually correct or not correct. So, stuff like that does happen. Unfortunate but true. Not everything goes on perfectly right off the bat. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, arms bent just a little bit, ever so kind of slightly in here, so we need something to kind of go across the middle here. Do you get down in there? Get in there! Okay, that felt like it's a wee bit higher than it has to be. And again, at this scale, I don't want to go crazy on doing fold stuff. We just kind of want to have a couple in there to give the general idea, but I don't want to go nuts on doing it. You just want to kind of want to have just enough to get the right feeling of what's going on. Yeah, those are a little thinner than I want. Let me save that possibly for later. Get another one here going. Let's see, we can have that kind of trail off a little bit. Ooh, something got in my throat. Okay, have a little bit kind of coming up here. It shouldn't be on the side of the chest, it would be more underneath. Front of the chest, actually, yeah, shouldn't have anything. It's got to be off to the side. No, book, stay there. Stay there or else I'm going to have to glue you in. Don't make me glue you in there, because you're going to be hardened in there. Once we harden this stuff, that thing's definitely not going to go anywhere. So. Soften that up a little bit, a little too deep. And just get a little bit of something going back. Okay. I was about to say, we got to be like that 40-minute mark or so, because I'm running out of things to talk about, and we're just getting dead air. And nobody wants dead air. That's typically not a good sign of things. But I'm also concentrating, getting these things 100% wrong, and I'm going to come back, yeah. Off camera, I'll come back and actually make these things correct. Means I should probably just kind of stop around there-ish, and that'll give me that can give me a little bit of a chance to come back and touch things up rather than get things wrong right now and have to touch up even more things off camera. But that's generally where we're going on that. I was about to say, I had him click in real quick for once. No, I didn't. Okay. But in general, there we go. We now have him holding some even more literature. And next time, hopefully we'll have a face. And he's actually gonna look like what he's supposed to look like. So, like I said, we're in the home stretch at this point. We're almost there. Painting this up shouldn't take too long to do when we get to that. And then, yeah, it's really 2 or 3 sessions. The model itself will be done. Probably 2, I'm guessing 2 sessions. The modeling itself will be completely done. And then we're on painting after that. And again, this painting should be pretty quick. And then we're touch-ups on the other, and we're golden. We're in there. We're done. Can move on to bigger and better things. But, no, I'm feeling pretty good. We have the look we're going for. This has made some nice improvements. But that's that. And until next time, enjoy.